Hello, it's been a while, a long time. So what I want to do, out of courtesy, before I started uploading any new videos, was to do a channel update, just to explain where I've been, what I've been up to, and what my plans are going forward. A few people have messaged me with various questions, so I thought it'd just be a good idea to answer those questions as briefly as I possibly can, just so you know what I'm up to and how the channel is going to be moving forward. As you may or may not notice, if you watch any of the old videos, that the Caddy has disappeared. It's gone to the scrapyard in the sky. It just, with any old VWs that are like 20-year-old, the rot just ate it, unfortunately. I love that Caddy van. I would have kept it forever if I could, but it just had to go. Anyway, let's answer these questions. So the first question that I've been asked quite a bit is, where have I been for the past 7 years? So you'll know if you watched any of the old videos, and if you don't, if you haven't, I will just give a recap. Basically what happened was I was doing match day experience videos of what it was like to go to Goodison Park for a football day, for a match day, with the mindset of helping people who couldn't go to the match for whatever reason, whether you live too far away, whether or you lived in a different country, whatever reason it is that you couldn't go. I wanted to do a match day vlog to show you what it was like at Goodison Park, and I was doing those. And what happened was, halfway through doing it, as you may or may not know, and I only mention this because it's relevant to the update, is because I started following the Bible. So I know that can be off-putting to a lot of people, and I'm only mentioning it because it's relevant. So as part of that process, I needed to not do anything work-related on a Sabbath. And it basically ruled out going to football matches on a Sabbath, which is a Saturday. So Sabbath, biblically speaking, starts on Friday evening and it ends on Saturday evening. And that ruled out a considerable amount of Everton games. And what happened as well, I was making a few career choices, and I've always loved cars, and I wanted to open up a car garage, and I needed to make a go with that. So I opened up a car garage, and it was very, very time consuming. More time consuming than I could ever realised, but once I'd started it, it was hard for it to stop. Anyway, so what that meant is I couldn't go to football games on a Saturday, and I had to work on a Sunday selling cars because I just had no choice, because I couldn't work on a Saturday. So I didn't have time to go to football matches and record them anymore. I just didn't have that in me. So now the situation has changed as regards to running the garage. I closed the garage at the beginning of the year, and that is over with now, and I've decided to go down a different path. One of the things that I wanted to do was have another go at doing YouTube videos. So that's where I've been for the past 7 years. I've been running the car garage that is now closed, and I've got a new opportunity to do a few different things. So I am resurrecting my old YouTube channel, and that is the answer to the first question. So another question that a few people have been messaging me on Instagram as regards to is, do I still have my Everton season ticket? And the answer is yes, I do. And as we all know, we've moved from Goodison Park. So what I wanted to do was, I made a decision when I was watching the football games before. As you may or may not know if you've watched any of the old videos, I was sat behind the goal in the park end. And when you go to the cup matches, you get the chance to sit in different seats. And I sat in various different seats. And what I decided, and I loved sitting behind the goal, but the one thing I didn't like about sitting behind the goal was that really you only get to watch one half of football, and the other half is so far away that you can't see it. Some angles behind the football net are great, but other angles are not so good. So you kind of had to watch the game again after you'd been to the match to find out how we'd played, because you didn't always know how you'd played properly, because you just couldn't see it from the right perspective, from the right angles. So what I decided to do was I wanted, if possible, when they were doing the seat allocations, was to get on the halfway line. That was my mission, so I could have a nice balanced view of the whole game, and that's what I managed to do. So I'm going to be sitting in the east stand of the new ground. I've got an amazing view. From my calculations, I should be sat bang on the halfway line. So that's where I'm going to be sitting. I have still got my season ticket. Right, so the next question that I've been asked is, will I still be making Everton videos? So the answer to that is yes, I will still be making Everton videos. Obviously, from what I said before, I cannot go to games that are on a Saturday. It's just impossible for me to go to those games. I'm not allowed, so I won't be going to those games. What I will be doing is going to the games that are on a Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, all the midweek games, all the games that are on a Sunday. I will be able to go to those, and I'm going to make a big effort to do a match day experience for as many of those games as possible. So I will be making the Everton videos. With that being said, what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to mix it up a bit. So with what I'm doing at the moment, I've decided to drive Uber part-time to allow me to make the right career choices moving forward. And one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to do my day experiences of what it's like to drive Uber in the northwest of England, and I'm going to share those videos in the same way that I do a match day experience video. I'm going to do an Uber day experience video. I like to go to the Lake District, I like to walk, I like to go visit the sites, and I will be doing day out experiences where I go to the Lake District, or whether I go to an interesting city, or whether I go and visit some other place. The underlying theme of the videos that I'm going to be doing, it's going to be about going out with me, what it's like on that day, the adventures that I get up to, and interesting things that happen. The one thing that I've learned through, well, not the one thing, but one of the things that I've learned through driving Uber is that those days are never dull. They're always quite action-packed, and there's lots of stuff that happens that just comes out of the blue. As well, when I've been going to the Lake District or visiting places, those are good days, in my opinion, and very enjoyable. So I wanted to share those on my YouTube channel. In the 7 years that it's been since I've done any football videos whatsoever, obviously I've matured as a person, I've changed as a person, and one of the things that I've realised about football is that football is just men kicking a ball around the pitch and kicking it into a net. Okay, I know that. In the bigger picture of things, football isn't important. With me personally, it's something that I grew up with, like checking the scores on a Saturday and just following Everton. It was something that's been ingrained into me from a very, very young age, and it's something that will always be there. Like, it's not going to go away. Has football been spoiled by the amount of money that's gone into the game? Yes. Do I enjoy it as much as I used to? No, I don't. Because of the money. When I started watching football, I feel that players really gave it all for the badge and for the club. And realistically, these days, football players, not all of them, but I'm generalising, mercenaries that will play for any club, and it's all about the money and the lifestyle. And once you get a certain amount of money, or you give people too much money, it takes their focus away from football, and football just is a secondary aspect. So if you sign a player on a 5-year contract and they're being paid tens of millions of pounds, or however much it is, and you're guaranteed to get that for the next 5 years, then it means that their motivation changes, and it has spoilt football in a way. There's no doubt. And there's another thing with VAR, and the way that the game is stacked and preferenced for the so-called big clubs. That when I say big clubs, I mean the ones that are currently financially big. The ones where before all these restrictive rules were brought in, they built themselves up, and now they can't be caught because of the rules that have been implemented in the name of football fairness, which is clearly not fair. and it spoils the game a little bit. It does. There's no doubt about it. So I just wanted to preface it with that. But I do love football. I do enjoy football. I love Everton Football Club. You know, but in the same way, same breath, it's not the be all and end all. But I do enjoy going to an Everton match, cheering Everton along, and at the same time, I just wanted to say, you know, obviously there's other priorities in my life, and football is just a very small part of that. So, you know, that's where we're at with Everton, and I just wanted to make that clear, make that shift in my mindset known, so that when you see my enthusiasm and my disappointment and my excitement, that it's in context of it is just men kicking a ball around a pitch, and it doesn't really mean that much. But in a way it does, because like I said, it's been ingrained in me since birth, and I just can't help it. So that's something that I wanted to interject into the video, so that you was aware of my opinions on that. Obviously, that might not be a popular opinion, but you know, it's where I'm at this point in my life with football. So there we go. So the final question that I wanted to cover is, what's my opinion of the current Everton situation? So as I'm filming this video, we lost to Leeds last night. So I just wanted to put that into context, so just in case it's time sensitive. The previous owners and all the other managers that we've had and in recent years have run the club down. We'd run out of money. We were just concentrating on building the stadium. I understand that. We took out large loans, high interest rates. We nearly sold the club to the wrong people various times. And that has put Everton, the football club, in a situation where the playing squad that we've got isn't to the level that we'd need it to be. And that is a consequence of all the previous many years of mismanagement. Can we correct that in one window? Can we correct it overnight? No. It's unfortunate. Could we have done better this transfer window? Yes, of course we could. But you need to put it into perspective to where we were, what the situation was previously. We've moved into a state-of-the-art stadium, which is going to serve us well for many years. It's unfortunate that the previous regime didn't have the hindsight to make it bigger, make it a 60, 70, 80,000 seat stadium, which we could have easily filled out, which he didn't believe at the time when we were making it in the planning stage that we could do. But that is a mistake. But the stadium puts us in good stead. The manager is the right manager. He turned it around, and we need to trust him, and we need to have faith that he's going to deliver what he has delivered in the past. And I've got no doubt, given the right set of tools and the right people around him, that he'll be able to do that. You know, the players that we currently got, we need better players. With what's happened at Everton, it's just not going to be corrected overnight. We've got a whole new ownership, management team. It's all completely new, and their work processes and their their targets, aims and goals can't be judged over a couple of months. They need to be judged, you know, over a year, 2 years, 5 years, even more long term than that. And they're not going to be able to correct everything overnight. Could they have done better now? Yes, they could have done. There's no doubt. But what I wouldn't want us to do is sign players just for the sake of signing players. And we always moaned in the past that we signed average players that weren't right for Everton, put them on huge contracts, and then ended up having it ruin us, where we had to let them run the contracts down. They had no resale value, and they just weren't the right players. It's how we've been left, with no pace in our team, with no creativity, nobody that can carry the ball. And what we need is a team We need people that can work and play together as a team of people, that, you know, throughout the pitch they operate in like groups, squadrons going forward, where they all know what each of us is going to do. And behind the scenes, all these players, they need to get on. They need to be on track. They need to have the right mentality. It needs to be not a squad of individuals, but a team of players that like each other, that have a collective plan, and that, you know, teams that win football matches ain't necessarily the best group of individuals. They're the best people that work together as a unit, and we need to play as a unit with a collective strategy, a good strategy that's been thought out properly, and where the lines of communication from the top to the bottom are quite short. Our manager needs to say, right, we want these players, these are the players that we need. And in the past, we've had people who were buying players the manager didn't want, and then it was just a disaster, a complete disaster. So we've got a new opportunity to correct all the problems of the past. Will we get it all right straight away? No, we won't. But we need to invest in the right mix of youth, experience, pace, ability. So we have a balanced team, and we have a very unbalanced team at the moment, and it's a consequence of all the poor decisions from the past. So I have confidence, you know, over the next couple of seasons that we'll get to where we need to be. It won't be a quick process. It just won't be. One of the things that does worry me though is with the multi-club ownership rule, the way that they own Roma and Everton would be, hypothetically speaking, if we both qualified for Europe, whether it was Europa League or, you know, in a couple of years Champions League, which obviously it's just wishful thinking at the moment, but what would happen if Everton and Roma qualified for the Champions League? How would that go about? And, you know, it'd probably be better if we had an ownership group that just owned Everton, or maybe at least not two European teams where they could potentially compete in the same competition where they're not allowed to. So that's my only concern. But as regards to the ownership group, they're a successful group. They've not bought the team and the company that are Everton for it to fail. They're wise, clever people, and they've got the right business sense to push Everton forward to where they need to be. So the Premier League, all the teams are moving on, you know, and we just need to be smart, efficient, and to think about the short term, medium term, and long term, and have a collective vision where the whole football club, company, if you want to call it that, is working on the same page, and they're working as a team on the pitch and off the pitch to get us to where we need to be. And hopefully, you know, we'll have the best chance that we've had in a long time to make this happen. Because if you think where we were, where we had an old stadium, we didn't have the correct money, we didn't have the correct manager. We've now solved a lot of those issues, and I'm sure there'll be teething problems, and we've all got high expectations on where we want Everton to be. And, you know, one of the unfortunate things is that with, you know, the rules, the financial rules that are in place in the Premier League, the way that, you know, all the rules favour the big established status quo teams in the Premier League, the ones that have been doing well for the past couple of years. It'll be hard to break that monopoly, as Aston Villa and Newcastle are finding out. You can get to a certain level, but it's hard to break through to that next level. But I have confidence that Everton have got the best opportunity they have for many years to do that. And you never know, further down the line, those financial rules might change, and we need to be ready for that. But we need to, like I said, work as a team off the pitch, on the pitch, and, you know, the crowd as well, to support Everton on where they need to be. Right, so I'm recording this the next day. I just wanted to tag on just a little bit more, just to put a conclusion on the channel update video. So, as regards to the frequency of the videos, hopefully I should put one up at least every 2 weeks. With the football games, it'll be always the day after the game, or maybe the night of the game, depending on what time the kickoff is, because I understand Everton videos are time sensitive. You don't want to watch an Everton video a week after the match, so I'll put those ones up as quickly as I possibly can. As regards to other videos, I don't want to put pressure on myself and say I'm going to do a video every week, because then I'd look foolish. I think maybe if we could say once every 2 weeks, and if I do them sooner than that, that would just be a bonus. My only aim with the channel is to make good quality content that I'm happy with, and to progress video by video and just get a little bit better each time. So that's my plan with it. And what I want to do is just give it my absolute best. I don't want to do it half-hearted or anything like that. I don't want to, in 3-4 years time, think, oh, what if I'd only done this, you know, I should have given YouTube a go. I just want to give it a go to see where we sit with it. I enjoy video editing. I enjoy making videos. It's something that I have a passion for, so that's why I'm giving it a go. As regards to content of the videos, I will do different playlists. So like, I'll put the Uber ones in a playlist, I'll put the Everton videos in a different playlist, and I'll put the day trips out to other places in a different playlist. So if you have a preference on which one you prefer, then you can sort from that way. As regards to the Bible, I only mention the Bible because it's relevant to understanding the context of which I'm speaking. I'd just like to say, as regards to that, I respect everybody's opinion, and I'm not here to push the Bible on anybody. I think that's exactly the opposite of what you should be doing. I think the Bible says that you should shine a light through setting a good example, and that's what I'd like to do. Just set a good example and nothing more than that. So like I said, as regards to whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, or anything like that, it's nothing to do with me. I'm just here to make YouTube videos and just tell you sometimes, occasionally, what my opinion of certain subjects is. Anyway, I'd like to wrap it up by just saying thank you for taking the time for watching the update video. I really appreciate it, and I'd also just like to say thank you for the people that have, you know, reached out to me while I've been away and said and gave the messages of support. It just means a lot to me. I really do appreciate it. Anyway, I won't take up any more of your time. Just wanted to say thank you for watching, and hopefully see you on the next one. Take care.